Hello everybody, it's Ronnie with Whip and Chain. I bring you videos to do our crochet series. I work with Maggie and Lauren to be able to bring you these wonderful crochets. This one is X marks the spot. Beautiful. You can pick any two colors that you want to, but this is a classic granny square pattern, but it's carrying yarn. So if you want to start learning, this would be a good one to practice on, okay? And again, I'm just pulling from my stash. It's just standard 4-ply acrylic yarn, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Now I'm going to start with the magic ring. If you do not want to start with the magic ring, you can start with a chain 4 and slip stitch to the first stitch. After you slip stitch to the first stitch, please chain 3. If you're doing the magic ring, you already have 1 chain, so only chain 2 more. And then put in 2 double crochets right in that ring. And 2. And chain 2. And put in 3 double crochets. What's neat about this X marks the spot when you make granny squares, you can really have fun with making a pattern like with a blanket with this. Chain 2, 3 more double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 more. So you should have 4 sets of 3 double crochets together. And chain 2, pull your center tight, and then just slip stitch to the top of your chain 3. Now I want you to slip stitch over to your chain 2, but before you slip stitch in the actual chain, now's the time that you bring up your new color. Okay, so when you go in this corner right here, put on your new yarn, hold your original yarn that you started with, and just make a slip stitch. Okay, now we're going to be working with the new yarn right now, but I need you to carry your working yarn with the original color, and if you're able to do it, it's a perfect time to crochet over your tails. So chain 3, put 2 more double crochets. We're in the corner. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. Okay. Chain 1 and look, no, I didn't do it on purpose, but I want you to see I didn't crochet over and carry my other color. And this is what will be happening if you don't carry your color. So you have to crochet over it. I like when I make those errors because it allows you guys to see. Chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay, now I'm crocheting over it. Chain 1 and continue to carry your yarn. Go into the next corner and do 3 double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3. So the back of these are definitely not a side that you want to show off. So these granny squares are good for patterns where you're focusing on the front side. Okay, chain 1, next corner, do the same. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and this should have been long enough to cut this tail. I'm a fan of getting rid of tails as soon as possible. Okay, chain 1, next corner. 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and then you slip stitch to the top of this chain. Now we're going to slip stitch over the corner. Now you're going to be able to see your yarn right here, but when we go around to do our stitches in here, it'll hide it, so don't stress. But make sure you keep your yarn with you. Okay. So we're in a corner. Corners are always going to be your secondary color. All right, chain 3, 3. Now make sure you pull up that carrying yarn so you can get over it. Put over 2 more double crochets, chain 2. Now just put in 2 double crochets first, 1 and 2. Now let's do our third. Wrap and go in, and only wrap once. Then you drop this color and you pull up your color that you started with. And in the center here, in the runway I call it, you put in 3 double crochets, but make sure now you're carrying your yarn. And 3. But before you finish that third, drop that, bring up your dark, because you're back in a corner. Your corner will be 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And 3, but don't finish. Drop that one, bring up your runway color, and then you do your 3 double crochets here. 1. See how it's covering that yarn? And before you finish your third, halfway done, drop and bring up your corner color and chain 1, and then you go over to this corner. It's 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and in the last half of your double crochet, drop this color, bring up your runway color, and always making sure you're carrying your non-using color at the time. So drop that color, finish at double crochet, chain 1, and back to the corner. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 1, 2, and remember, last one, you only go through twice. Drop that color and bring up your runway color. And when you do your runway, make sure you're carrying your non-using color. Drop that. Thing. And then you slip stitch. Top of your chain 3. And again, slip stitch over to your corner. And in. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And make sure you got this. This is the most critical part, is when you're starting your new row. Make sure you have them both. So you put in 2 more double crochets. Chain 2, you put in 2 full double crochets, and you only do half of the third. Now on this runway, I'm bumping everything. I sincerely apologize. Anyway, so now you have 2 areas for your runway. So you'll use your runway color twice. 1, 2, 3. Chain 1, and I'm carrying my non-using color at this point. The second one, 2, and remember half of the third one because we're going to change back to that. Chain 1, and in the corner. So I'm sure you noticed your secondary color is only done in the corners. And when you're on the runway, you're using the color that you started with. And this, my friends, can keep growing to the size of your desire. But I like to do this on a table where I can have my yarn sitting, because it would be real easy for this to get twisted, especially for someone that's new and that's learning this. Just a suggestion. Chain 1. Now do 2 full ones and a half a third. I drop that and bring up my corner color. Chain 1. And the corners are always 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. But this third double crochet, remember again, you do not finish. You only do half of it. So you can bring up your runway color. Okay, now I'm on the runway. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. One thing I'm not a fan of stash yarn, there's usually, for me, there's usually a reason that it became stash yarn, and it's because I wasn't ever thrilled with it. But I don't let any yarn go to waste. And 3, but I don't finish it because corner. So chain 1, carrying my yarn, put in 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. But remember, do not finish that third one, because you're going back on the runway. Whoop. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. If you do not understand this pattern, I do have a video for the classic granny square, so you can go to refer to that. I'll see if Maggie would be so kind to tag it in this video so it's easy for you to access. And my third one, again, half of it. Bring up the new one, chain 1, and then you slip stitch. And that is the pattern for this. You can just continue repeating to the size that you want. And like I said, you can just keep going and make a nice size lap blanket, or even a comforter on your bed if you want, whatever interests you. I really hope these videos that I'm doing are helpful to you in your learning. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment here, or you can find us on Facebook under WIP for Work in Progress and Chain. And I look forward to seeing you guys in our next video. Happy crocheting!